Welcome, Ruby, to the podcast. I'm so excited that you are here with us
Well, thank
today.
you for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to be with you today.
I absolutely wouldn't have it any other way. I'm really excited. So, you may not know this, but we had taken a break from our podcast and we are starting up. So, your episode will air in season 7, which is really exciting. I can't believe we've been doing this for 7 years
Wow.
now. I'd love to have our community get to know
Well,
you a little bit.
7 and 7 are perfect numbers. So I'm glad that I got this opportunity to be in the season or episode 7. 7. Yeah, so my name is Ruby Sopke. I am a blind and low vision teacher in a small district in Brownsburg, Indiana. Yeah, a lot of people would have sometimes misspelled my name as Spoke, Sopke. It's very common, but yeah, I've been in education for a long period of time, about 20 years, and TBI for about 12 years. Yeah, and I love my job.
Wow. You're skipping over
Uh-huh.
quite a bit. You are originally from the
That is
Philippines,
true. All
right?
right, let's start over. I'm gonna tell
Yes.
you the story of what my experiences. So basically, I originated from the Philippines. Um, I served as a missionary back when after I graduate. So I was assigned in mountainous area in the Philippines, and eventually you go to South Korea and be an English teacher there. So that's where I learn how to speak more conversational English, because for now I have like 4 or 5 different languages that I can um, transcribe in my head simultaneously. But sometimes I wish I could just speak one and be fluent. I wish I could just speak English and be so good at it. and but I love the idea of having multiple languages. I think that contributed also for my love in Braille, because I I read one day that um, those people who actually love learning languages can actually, you can use those power of your brain to learn Braille. And I was like, oh, maybe this is something that I would want to sit down and learn from. And then I really did. I sit down for 2 years, day in, day out, when I came here and eventually gotten my um, Library of Congress UAB Braille transcriber certification. And that was so good because that gave me a chance to have my superintendent back in the Indiana School for the Blind to see me as a person that they can use. So they said, well, Ruby, you have a master's degree. You are an assistant teacher, because from other country coming here in America, it doesn't matter where you are standing educationally. But when I moved here, I had master's degree, but I was an assistant teacher. And so after showing them that I can teach and I know Braille better than a lot of teachers, he was like, okay, we will give you your emergency license and go on, and we will pay for your schooling to be a TVI, and we will start letting you teach. We will give you a classroom, and you will teach Braille. I was like, okay, so this is the first step towards, professional work. So I could help more kids and more teachers. So that was the time that uh, my school given me that opportunity and giving me a platform to to serve kids who are blind and visually impaired. Yeah, so that's kind of like the ballpark of my story. I can tell you more. So, but yeah.
Well, I already have so many
Yeah.
questions. Yes, keep
So
going.
eventually I grow and I really want to learn more. And I stayed there for about 5 years in the blind school. And I was like, if I move from this school to an actual public school, maybe I would grow more. So I did actually. And then I learned more. And I love learning. I'm a lifelong learner. Speaking of that, I am actually taking my doctorate degree, advancing my education into like leadership role. So I had my EDS degree. I just graduated last December, 2023. Yeah, that was last year. It was like a long time ago, but that was just, you know, last year. So EDS with educational technology and learning engineering. So I pick up one device, the Poly, and I wrote a research about it, um, an action research. And then now I am picking up another device called Cadence by Tactile Engineering. It's fascinating. So I want to do a action research that will, if this device could actually help us, could actually help, our blind kids, if this device could, serve them with a tactile representation in their testing, in the testing situation. So I'm very excited about that. So back when my story, I moved out of the blind school and moved to the actual public school. And in that public school, I grew a lot and I learned that kids can be in the public school settings. And my role is kind of like different from where I was in the blind school and in the public school settings. So I'm now on itinerant. So I travel where they are at and I support the students. And at the same time, I support the teachers. It's a different ball game, but I like it. I like having my own time. I can create my own schedule, but it can get crazy sometimes. I would sometimes come home and bring some work, and sometimes it's not fair that during my break I have to do some transcription to prepare for the next week, the coming up week, and all that. But it's rewarding. I'm kind of like, I love the fact that the kids, I can follow them wherever, every stages where they're at. So I have a kid from when he was 3 year old and now he is in first grade. I have a kid that when he was in third grade and now he is in eighth grade. And then I could boast like, I've been teaching this kid since he was in third grade. So that's kind of fun. If I am fighting for something or advocating for something for them. So
I love it. Okay, I have a bunch of questions, and you and I actually have a little bit of a
uh-huh,
similar path as far as us where we started
uh-huh.
in our professions. But so you got into this profession because you love
Mm-hmm.
languages and decided
Mm-hmm.
to learn Braille. Like, that's so wild. I love that
Yeah.
story. You don't hear about that very often. And then from there, then you got a job as a TVI within the school that you did you already work at the school for the blind, or did you then after you're getting your UEB transcription certification go get a job at a
So I
school for
was
the blind?
hired by the School for the Blind as an assistant teacher. So I was working with them. So I have the opportunity to have the Braille machine, the Braille paper that I can consume
Mm.
while practicing. So that was a real, blessing that I have them at my back end to support me. Yeah. And day in, day out, I sit
Yeah.
down and
And that's
practice. It was really hard work, but it pays off.
it's a problem that all TVIs have. And every itinerant teacher, I think, if we could elevate this conversation outside of just TVIs, we could go to
Mm-hmm.
OTs, PTs with it and just be like, well, what are you doing? Because your life is
Yeah.
crazy too. And it's something that we can all connect on. It's a big challenge that we have. Is
You can use the snipping tool. You can put pictures and everything in there. You can screenshot, put it there. You can put the IEP in there. Sometimes I kind of like get the part where I always look, so I don't need to keep on logging in with the IEP and stuff. It's in my OneNote. So if I'm asked what's their STN, it's in my OneNote. What's their birth date? I will just click on their name. It's all there, all organized. How many times do I meet them? Their caseload, their subjects, their schedule, everything. And it's on my phone too, so I can just open OneNote. Where is it? Here, here, and here. It's so beautiful. When I started using it, I mean, my day is easier than ever before. If they ask me where I was, like I will just share my OneNote to the admin, and they're like blown away. They think that I work so hard, which I do.
You do work hard, but part of working hard is actually working
Exactly.
smarter. I'm like, okay, this day is progress
Mm-hmm.
report like day where I'm gonna where my lesson is what I'm gonna be reporting on for progress. Like that whole week, that's all that I'm doing. So that way I literally know exactly where to go to copy and paste. But I cannot wait to elevate my
Yeah,
systems
yeah.
through you. I'm so stoked because my life is gonna get
Yeah.
so much better. And then what ends up happening is that when we spend less time doing the stuff that we don't love doing at work, instead of procrastinating or making it to be a big deal, when we can actually automate our
Mm-hmm.
systems and digitize things, then we can spend more time with for you, God is very important. So
Mm-hmm.
you probably spend more time with God, with your family, with like doing the things that you love doing that make you a
Yeah.
whole person and help you fill your cup so that way you can give
Right.
back more. Like that's
Yeah.
so
I
amazing.
know that you love to exercise too, and I was like, oh, she's exercising. I have to go out there and and go back to exercising too. It's really nice to have that time for yourself and to take care of yourself and to, yeah, everything else. Like we have to do all of this different thing in a day, but it all comes down to if you have a system that works for you, apply it, and so it can help you really do what you love to do.
That's true. I love that. Okay, let's start to wrap up our podcast episode. We like to keep these within 30 minutes
Mm-hmm.
or so because we want to keep it to where people can listen to it in the
Mm-hmm.
car on the way to a student or something. And I want to ask you if you could give our community one piece of advice to help them take a step forward to becoming a better TVI or O&M or some other profession or caregiver within the field of visual impairments, what would you
Yeah. So
say?
if you are a TVI or if you're a parent who are working with your kid right now, I would say like, don't lose hope and just keep looking into the end goal. Like our major concern is to help the kid, and if we are helping one kid at a time, that's fine. And I would like to say that there's a lot of us who are tired and worn out because our job is crazy and we are not recognized enough. Uh, and sometimes the population is so small that nobody cares if we do something sufficient or big or significant. But um, God can see you. God knows your heart. And keep doing what you're doing, and more blessing will come to you.
We love that. Ruby, you're just such a gem in our field. Thank you so much for being you. Thank you for signing up and applying to present at the symposium and for really just reaching for everything that you've reached for in your life because you are spreading your light and you're sharing it with us. And I'm so grateful to be one of the people in
Oh, thank you
community
so
with
much,
you.
Cassie.
All right, Miss Ruby. Well, my friends, this is the end of this episode. We will be back next week with another great episode. So I hope that you can take this information and help it to take one step forward.